Hello, welcome to Veldboom Studios. My name is Shaquille Veldboom, and I thought I'd give another status update on the whole car project and everything that I've been doing. My life has been like a crazy roller coaster ever since I started with this project. It's also just on a personal level, professionally, like everything is just ramped up to a whole nother stratosphere from this point. I'm extremely proud of what I've been able to accomplish because with the building of the micro car itself, it comes with a lot of different challenges that I kind of had to overcome. So, first of all, I'm not really like a financially extremely well off person. I don't have a lot to complain about either, but I'm doing this on a shoestring budget. I don't have like a lot of extra capital to be spending on this project like this. Um, so that has been it's been a challenge, and also just with the amount of work I had to put in to actually keep making money to keep funding this project by myself, because also just the way that I kind of feel about this whole project. As soon I also don't want so much help, and I also have like a difficulty of asking people for help. I've noticed I have some trouble of delegating some of the task and other things that that have been around. But also at the same time, I don't really have the funds to pay people to delegate a lot of the things to. So um, it's been a delicate balance. Um, on a professional side of things, the micro card itself is almost done. I'm 3D printing like the final components for it. I could show you guys in a second like what the frame or what has been up with that, but it's a little bit difficult to deal with, to kind of keep on having a good spirit about it. But I think that that's just one of the things that I also learned throughout this project, is that nothing will stop me at this point, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna show you that real quick. So what has been going on with the frame is that here we have multiple bars and like a combination of these 3D printed inserts here that have these screw and threads and stuff going through them for these bolts and aluminum bars to kind of hold everything up together. So that is kind of how the whole frame has been assembled, but to kind of assemble that in a good way, also with the bottom section being over here. It's been very hard to kind of make sure that the frame is in its proper position, but then still maintain the actual integrity of the frame. So hopefully I can show you a little bit of that. As soon as you have like these two pieces of the frame and you need to combine them and put them together, then all of these pieces need to line up correctly, and you can't really like put too much torque in on the frame as soon as you have like one of these loose bars. Like let's say I would push this in the upward direction, then it would be relatively easy to kind of break the 3D printed part here. But as soon as everything's kind of like collected together and bolted together, then it doesn't really have the freedom to move in different directions, and then the uniformity will kind of give it a strength in a way. That is just kind of with the frame, something that has been very frustrating to deal with, because it's just every single time that I'm trying to assemble it and one of these pieces breaks, and I need to wait another 4, 5, 6 hours, sometimes even 10, for these larger components that have broken off. One of these, like for instance, this was like a 10-hour or 9-hour print, I think. But this one broke off like right there at the end. So that is very, very frustrating to kind of have to deal with, and then having to wait another 10 hours to be able to then fully assemble the car again. So that is what has been going on with the frame. So what is left to do basically is here on the front suspension, I still need to add adjustment points for the brake caliper to actually be attached here, and also for the steering arm to be able to actually like push these in and out. And then also we need to, here on the suspension mounts, we need to make like a bracketing mount to actually attach it to the frame. Also, if I'm not looking my best at the moment, it is like 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been working my butt off. And then this here will be like some of the steering joints and everything. So that will mount right underneath here, this yellow thing. And then the bottom section here by my pinky It's basically connected to the steering rod underneath the frame, the rack and pinion gear, and then this top section by my index finger here, it will be then attached to the steering wheel. So then this will start to rotate when you're applying some steering rotation, and that will give it to the rack and pinion gear to then feed it to the wheels. So I still need to make that. But those are like smaller components that won't really take too long to print with the Bamboo Lab and with the different printers that I have here. And for the rear also I still need to make some also this the braking attachment points, and I also need to order the rear brakes still, the disc brakes for it. Then I need to mount this roll hoop to the chassis here, to make sure that this is also like very sturdy mounted for any type of maybe like a crash that we could have, that the car flips over, that we are still protected in a rollover scenario. And then also still need to make the mounts for the seat to actually be fitted to the frame, and all that type of stuff. So there's still some work to be done, but most of those prints are relatively small, and I also 3D printed most of the components already. So that's most like assembly stuff, but I need to make the frame itself complete before I get to do any of that, you know? So that is that. And now we're actually also here in the office. So this is currently the setup that I have. So this right here behind me is the Anycubic Cobra Max. Got two of those. This one here probably isn't working at the moment. I need to get some new PETF filament guiding tubes and stuff for it, and also a new nozzle. And I'm thinking about making them direct extrusion, so I'll probably just revamp the whole extrusion setup once I kind of get there. That is the Ender 3 Pro, the smaller one. It's currently printing some tail lights. I actually got it from a guy that used to work at the high school that I used to work at. I think he still works there actually. So thank you, Clyde. Peace. That's my Bamboo Lab P1P. I got another one of those at home. So at home I will also be using that for like a bunch of projects that I'm thinking about doing at home with 3D printing. So imagine like radio controllable curtains or something, you know, that type of stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out what I can do with like robotics and furniture design, all of that. That is a Creality CR6 Max. It's also one of the larger printers that I have, but it's also down at the moment. Also needs some like a new extrusion type of. I think the Bowden extruder is slightly broken or something. It doesn't feed like the filament with the proper torque in there. So I also want to get like a direct extruder for the Creality. So I need to get 3 direct extrusion units to retrofit those printers, and then I will be having like successful prints with those again. And this is the Ender 5 Max that I have. I have 2 of these. This one right here, and also one below in the heat mag. And this one is also having some extrusion issues, and the other one similar deal basically. But I also have some replacement parts for that one already. It's a whole setup story, but at least at the moment I have now like 6 of the 9 3D printers are actively in use, and hopefully in the next week or so, 2 weeks or so, I will have the other ones also repaired, and then I will have 9 functioning 3D printers in operation, which is crazy to say. I used to dream about saying that even when I was like a 15-year-old kid with the first one. So being able to actually build all of that and, you know, have like my mini production line going here, it's getting cool. And this is also like the office space. We are currently in a larger office building called the Extra Mile. This is here in the southeast of Amsterdam, where there are a couple of guys who basically came together to make sure that there is like a place where people could conduct professional business. And on that team, like basically I'm like this creative guy that doesn't really, you know, most of the time pay too much attention to how clean things look, because I'm just, you know, kind of have somewhat of I want to say a chaotic, but I don't know. Yeah, I should say chaotic way of working. But now I'm trying to keep it more organized and clean, because, you know, it's also like a glass box basically that I'm sitting in. So basically you can see everything. But that is, you know, it's also part of it. So that is also something that is kind of like conflicting me a little bit with the way that I'm working here, because yes, I do enjoy being able to share my journey with people and also talk a lot about what I've been doing. But also I've noticed that giving like the same speech over and over again with people coming in and being curious about what I'm doing is also kind of wearing me down. And sometimes I just feel like isolating myself and just focusing on the work that I have to do instead of talking to people about the process and things like that, you know? So, yeah, but I don't know. I've really have mixed feelings about it because sometimes I also feel like people should respect the fact that I'm working in there and not like barge up and open the door and come into my space without even like asking or something, you know? So, you know, but kind of it comes with the journey, I guess. And also, I'm thankful that people are even interested in the stuff that I'm doing, you know, because people could also not even give a fuck and just walk past by. So I don't want to sound like I'm being spoiled or anything, but at the moment, I do feel like I need some space for myself to just be isolated and finish up these last couple of things, you know? So let me take you guys to the computer to also show you what I've been kind of designing with the 3D files for it itself. And then I can also show you what we will do with the marketing to kind of do some community building, but I'm gonna just show you guys in a second, no worry. So now we're behind the computer. This is the 3D file for the frame itself.